Hey guys, welcome back to some more Raid Shadow Legends. Today's video, we're going to be looking at the essential tips and tricks that are either going to make or break the Raid account that you're playing on. Starting with our first one, when it comes to Raid itself, logging in. It is incredible how many things we do get simply by logging in. If you're missing days, if you're not logging in and picking up these daily rewards, chances are you're not going to be progressing as fast as you can because they are giving you stamina, they are giving you resources, you're getting artifacts, you're getting accessories. Everything you need to progress within this game comes on a daily basis. It is kind of that very slow drip feed that we see with a lot of games similar to Raid, but it does make a big difference because you also get champions. Now, when it comes to champions in Raid, a little bit more difficult than we see with a lot of other games that are throwing out, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 summons, whatever it may be, because in here, getting one copy of a champion is a real game changer because you have the ability to build them out. And when we start looking even at some of the events that do come up in Raid, such as our reward calendar, if you're missing days in here, chances are you're not going to maximize the rewards. You're not going to be able to get the free legendary champion they're giving away right now, and you'd be missing all of the rewards throughout the entire time. This is why when you start logging into Raid and doing this on a regular basis, it is an absolute game changer. Not only in the free rewards that they give us, you get free rewards every 24 hours out of the shop. They were giving us free rewards as a couple of small pack set bonuses in here. That again, when you think about the accumulation of getting and picking up some of our brews, picking up all of our daily login rewards, the playtime rewards, when you're actually maximizing and being able to progress through this game a lot faster, it is about the actual playtime that you're putting on a daily basis. Now, when we start thinking about gems, this is a part where when it comes to gems, very early in Raid, gems are super, super important if you're just starting because they will give you the ability to unlock masteries that we'll talk about in a bit. But when you start accumulating gems and getting to the point of unlocking a gem mine, which of course is going to produce gems every single hour and a half for free, once you get it to level 3, but you also get the Guardian Ring, again, that is unlocked by getting those gems. Gems are the currency within Raid. Gems are one of the absolute most important things that you can get in this game because it also allows you to restore your energy. With the full energy, this allows you to continue play. This allows you to continue gaining levels, farming campaign, looking at events, looking at tournaments. This is going to give you the ability to actually make the progression within the game that is going to really pay dividends when it comes to the more energy you're putting in, the more rewards you can get from all of the events and everything else that they do have within Raid. And also when you come to gems, just to touch on masteries really quick, is when you get a new hero such as this one, we just unlocked him today, is if you want to hop in here, you can pick up all of the scrolls, getting all scrolls for 800 of our gems. This is important for the very first 1 or 2 champions that you possess within Raid. You want to save up some gems. You want to use the gems and get the masteries completely unlocked. It's going to be a slow build in the Minotaur as you get further within Raid, but honestly, unlocking 1 or 2 champions in their entirety with the gems that you possess, it is a game changer when you look at everything that these champions are getting out of there. Now, when it comes to resources, this is something that in this game particularly can be super effective, is when it comes to building out champions, you want to focus on 1 or maybe 2 at a time. If you're spreading your resources too thin in the tavern, when you're building out your champions, you're going to have a bunch of half-built champions that do not have anywhere near the effectiveness of getting these champions to 60, adding some ascension levels on there, putting levels on there, getting the blessings built out, doing everything else within the champions that you have, meaning focusing on building out champions. Now, I very early into Raid, about the first couple weeks, started picking up a couple new champions, added a few stars kind of here and there, made the complete mistake of not focusing my resources because they are very limited within the game itself, making sure that you are focusing and building out on a damage dealer, 1 or 2 damage dealers, 1 or 2 support kind of at a time. And I'm rotating this now since we've been working on a champion like Tagore in epic support, definitely building him out, getting him built up a little bit further, starting to add the next star on him. And honestly, I could have probably put the very last star on him, just like I could have with Galak, because we focused and we chose to not build out and focus champions. This is the reason when it comes to resource generation, when it comes to resource, really the reserve and the acquisition, you have to focus on building these champions up to a higher level, which will allow you to perform exceptionally well at that higher level with the champions that you're building out, instead of spreading your resources again among, 4, 8, 12, 16 different champions. Focus on building them kind of one by one, almost like dominoes, getting them done and getting them completed in their entirety. Now, a big part of Raid is the arena. When it comes to battle, when it comes to the arena itself, you can see we have 3 different variations: the classic arena, the live arena, and we do have the tag arena. Now, the live arena does unlock, I believe it was level 50. We unlocked this. Incredibly difficult for me to get through because of the last tip we just shared with the resources. It was very, very difficult to get through because I don't have heroes that are built out in the entirety. So when I'm building a team just of 5 specific champions, it's hard to get through there because I do not have them built up to where they can be super effective in the game mode. Now, the classic arena, this is where you will farm, and this is probably the place that you will farm forever. When it comes to classic arena, you will get a crazy amount of tokens, and you will get tokens on a daily basis for this arena. You will also get tokens on a daily basis, and what you're farming are these. The silver medals that you see right here, this is what you want to farm. And again, you're probably looking at bigger picture, years of farming these to build out the different parts of Raid when it comes to building out the arena. It is going to be an incredible amount of time. But in addition to that, is they are also giving you the ability to go up tiers. When you're going up tiers, tiers equal super, super solid rewards. When you start looking at some of these gear sets, when you start looking at the ability to get more brews, to get more gems, to get more summons, you want to push and you want to really make some progression within PvP. Now, a tip to this, guys, is you also want to make sure that you're not pushing too far too fast. A lot of players have said, right now I'm in this silver league. If I move up to this gold league, which of course is going to be a lot higher competition, more rewards, higher competition. But if you do it too hard, too fast, there are a lot of your daily quests, which we're going to look at in just a minute, but you're not going to be able to complete the arena, the classic arena, the tasks within there because the competition is too tough if you go up too fast. And I honestly think I'm probably going to push, if we go in here and do this a little bit later, I'm probably going to push and see exactly where we can kind of land in this arena, making sure before the ranking period ends, which is right behind my camera in 3 days, to try to get a higher chest, trying to get some of these epic skill tomes and a couple other things within here. But when we start looking again, thinking of the tips and tricks on a daily basis, missions are the focus. This is going to be a constant progression, but then they overlap with quests. So every day, these are going to reset. When we talked about the login rewards, when we talked about the utilization of your gems, every single day you will get these. This is going to give you free energy, full energy refreshes. Absolutely want to do it. You will also see your arena tokens in here. That's why I said earlier, arena tokens are huge. You always get token refreshes. Even going back with the login rewards, there are multiple token refreshes in there. They roll up to weekly quests, which as soon as you complete this, it resets into another set of weekly quests. Same with the monthly quests. The monthly or the daily roll up to the weekly, rolling up to the monthly, rolling up to the advanced. When you get the advanced quest, 2 really, really big tips in here that you want to get. Number 1, farm up the energy first. The energy is going to allow you to do usually everything else you need in here. So farming up the energy first and then looking at getting the full energy again. So when you think of playtime, we've already looked at a daily login reward, gives us a full energy. We have that playtime reward, which gives us the full energy. We have a full energy in the daily. We have the full energy in the advanced. We also have energy on top of that. So if you really want to push progression again within Raid, getting the energy nonstop within all of these different avenues, and then spending essentially the next 10, 12 hours burning through all the energy makes a huge, huge difference when you're going through here. Now let's get into campaign farming. Now this, of course, is a massive tip. When it comes to battle, when it comes to campaign farming, your goal is to finish Brutal. Brutal is where you'll do the majority of your farming. When we're going through here and you get to Brutal, it is going to be 12-3. This is the spot where you do get in the Brimstone Path, but you do get the shields. When it comes to the EXP gained in relationship to the silver returned for selling this specific item, and it's been a well-known notorious spot. this is the spot that you're going to farm. So when it comes to farming, there are a couple different ways to look at this. Me personally, this is my farmer, but I want to break down systematically exactly how and why this works in the methodology behind it. So if I go through here and I just run Kale, which is the champion we have selected, he will get 100% of the experience that's going through here. If I drop another champion in here, they will split 50-50 for the experience that's getting in there, which is the reason why when it comes to building them up, when you look at in a champion already being maxed out at level 60, so this is 100% experience lost if I'm farming it. Putting in one champion gives us essentially 50% experience loss. And as we put in more champions, this takes it down to a 25% experience loss because Kale is already maxed out. So when we look at the other 3 champions in here that are all level 1, they will receive 75% of the experience that we get from farming stage 12-3 on Brutal. They will get 75% of the experience. Unfortunately, 25% of the experience is still going to be lost with Kale going through here. So if you do have the ability, and if you do have a farmer that is strong enough, if you could put a champion in here that is on a lower level, they could benefit from the experience. But again, this is a pretty tough stage to get through on 12-3 Brutal with a champion that really isn't built up as a farmer. Not saying that you can't do it, that it's impossible, but you're going to have to build up probably some life leech gear because, of course, all 3 of these are going to die out instantly. You're going to have a way to keep yourself alive through the content, making sure you can go through. So again, for me, personally, I use Kale. I run through here, and I believe it's about 45 seconds. Makes it very, very easy, very concise to go through here. Once I go through, I do sell all of the shields at the end, regardless of the stats, regardless of what is on there, because the set bonus for this gear set on 12-3 is not really important. So we do sell them for the silver, and over the course of time, you can amass silver. Now, if you're not looking to build out, and if you're not looking to max out any of your champions, getting some experience, the second big place, which is tip number, I believe we're on like 8 right now. Really didn't go through and number them, but the dungeons is when you look at this, there is going to be a very specific methodology when it comes to farming these. The best place players have said to get silver is 20, is Spider Den 20. Unfortunately, you can see we haven't pushed that far, but that is the spot where if you're looking for just pure straight silver, stage 20 is going to be the sweet spot in there. Now, when it comes to actually farming, and this is where when we're looking at, the Ice Golem, when we're looking at Dragon's Lair, when we're looking at a couple other places, the place to farm here is stage 20. Now, stage 20 at this point, I unfortunately cannot defeat. And when you look at it, it is the artifact drops that you're getting in relationship to the star level that you're getting on the artifacts. So right here, we're getting 5 to 6. So 5-star to 6-star artifacts on stage 20. This stage 20 again is the absolute farming. Now, if you cannot farm on stage 20, go to stage 16. This is going to be the big point where you can see there is a change within the energy that is being used. You're still getting the 4 to 6, which you can see 4 to 6, 4 to 6, 4 to 6. But stage 16 also changes systematically, allowing you to use a little bit less energy for the return that you're getting. It isn't as high of a return as we're seeing on stage 20, but going through and doing stage 16 in its entirety will be very beneficial. And the final one in here, guys, when we look at the Minotaur, you only want to farm on 15. This is something we started a little bit earlier. You want to make sure 100% that you're not farming the masteries, because remember, with the gems we used earlier, we have 2 of our champions already at max out masteries. You want to make sure when you're coming into this Minotaur that you have the ability, and again, if we used our gems, we would have 2 of these champions already maxed out with their masteries. Hopefully we can run 1 or possibly even 2, depending where you have them built, up to build the rest of the mastery for all of these champions, really making this a very, very efficient. And that's the big thing that you have to think about this, is when it comes to efficiency within Raid, the more efficient you are with the content, the better you're going to do when it comes to longer term building out champions, when it comes to summons, when it comes to overall progression. This game is about maximizing efficiency in every single stage of every single part in this game itself. is about maximizing the efficiency. So when we think of the market, this is another place where I only buy the mystery shards out of here. Now, every now and then we'll see some legendary pieces of gear. We'll see, some of these that could be beneficial. However, looking at the cost, 1.3 million silver to get a piece. Possibly if you're sitting on a ton of silver, like 20, 25 million plus, maybe it's going to be worth it. For me, I haven't found a time yet that this is beneficial to get these out of here. Mystery shards, absolutely, because every now and then when you come into the portal, there are events that are around mystery shards, sacred shards, ancient shards. All of the shards we have in here, there are different events that kind of go around them, really making a big difference in the ability to build out and maximize, again, getting those champions. In this game, like I talked about earlier, champions are incredibly rare to come by when it comes to summons, maximizing everything that you can get in here and really wrapping them around events. So right now, the Path of Spring is up. This event does reward us for doing summons. So even looking here, mystery shards on this right side, or excuse me, left side right behind my camera, gives us 3 for every summon. So if you think about it, right here, we're almost at 500. By the end of this, we'll probably be at 500. So if we're looking at picking up another 1,500 points just out of summons, we could possibly do that. Going to be incredibly time consuming. Also going to get a lot of 1, 2, and 3 star champions out of there. And ultimately, they're going to be recycled into a lot of food in the tavern. But like we said earlier, when it comes to building out champions in their entirety, you have to have the efficiency. You have to make sure you're not wasting resources. If you are, you're going to fall farther and farther back faster when it comes to raid and when it comes to progression overall. You have to make sure that you're pushing this. That might mean going through and again, focusing on, and I did this with the AFK Arena, and I'm starting to do this exact same thing with raid, is picking out, again, 1 or 2 champions that I really want to build. Right now, I want to build out Alice. So we are going to farm the resources for Alice until Alice is done. Once you have a hero that is done, guess what? Once the masteries are done, done is done, guys. That champion will no longer require any masteries. Once you get them to 6 stars, they're done. Once you hit level 60, they are complete. Once you get this ascended level up to these 6 purple stars, they're done. Once you go in there and go into the Altar of Souls and get all 6 perfect souls, the champion is complete. Of course, you could have some different artifacts on there. You could have, a bunch of different gear in there. There's a bunch of different ways that you could play this. But once you get the base concept, the base stats, the base champion completed itself, you don't have to build that champion any further. And you can use that champion for a multitude of things within raid, which when you start thinking bigger picture, when you start getting into clan wars, when you start getting into factions, when you start getting into siege, when you start getting into all of these different places, you need and have to have a ton of different champions within raid being built, meaning it's going to take some real big time and effort to get that build. Now, gear, this is something that you really have to take a back seat to. When it comes to gear, there's really 2 big focuses that I like to really look at. Number 1, crit rate on gloves. Number 2, speed on boots. It is really that simple when it comes to gear sets, when it comes to everything else that these champions possess. It is going to change in time. It is going to change till the point you're getting 5-star gear, 6-star gear, when you start really streamlining the process of getting gear. Once you start farming those stage 20s, that's the time you really start refining the gear, starting to build it up a little bit further, making sure you know exactly what you're building, what it's going to look like. And that is when you start spending resources in there. But that comes much, much later than really early game, even mid game, even looking here, we're still kind of building out a couple different sets. But again, focusing on that crit rate, focusing on the speed that we do have in here is an absolute game changer when it comes to building these out in their entirety. And it's also just about farming, guys. When it comes to the fundamentals, when it comes to raid, it is about farming and farming everything you have on a regular basis. This is a game you are going to farm forever. If you play for a month, a year, 5 years, 6-year anniversary just passed for raid, you will be farming every time that new champions come out. You have to get the materials for them. You have to get the levels for them. You have to have the food to build them up to 6 stars. It is going to be a farming forever, which I'm loving playing raid. But guys, that's going to do it for our tips and tricks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.